For life.
Yeah. Bullet cast. What's going on? Stacy. This elite podcast in here. Ain't nobody better. Look. Yeah. Listen to us every time we live in the side. When you turn it on, it's just defining the mind. If you feel it, our opinions is great.
Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? You know the name, you know the voice, you know exactly why I'm here. The California Classic, the greatest sports recreational podcast from the world today. A 25-year-old piece of gold, the microphone messiah, the 11-time Bullet Cast champion. I'm chasing number 12. I want to go for the dirty dozen like Edge tried to do last week in Money in the Bank, but I never do it alone. He's my tag team partner. I guess we could say Jimmy to my Jay. They're tag champions. The Stevie Ray to my Booker T. The Tully to my Arn. Ladies and gentlemen, the host of the award-winning Under the Radar, host and creator of Curveballs and Chair Shots, the former 12-time and first ever Bullet Cast champion, the current reigning and not defending because he doesn't need to defend it, Bullet Cast in the Bank. Ladies and gentlemen, BT Brandon Dan Guma. Brandon, how you doing?
Doing just fine, Phillip. Another Thursday, another episode of the Bullet Cast. I'm here at my aunt's house like I normally am for the Bullet Cast, and I'm usually dog sitting. And there's a new addition to the family, so I had to crate the puppy before we started the podcast. So if you hear a squeaky toy in the background, that would just be it complaining.
Oh, okay. I see. All right.
Shout out Tucker. Even though it's this wasn't my idea, but now I can scream Tucker all the time.
So the name of the dog is Tucker.
Possibly, it's still a work in progress, but that's the it's been marked in pencil for now.
Okay, I see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start off with Monday Night Raw. It was the first Raw back in front of fans. It was great, and we kicked it off with none other than Big Match John, the franchise player. John Cena, the 16-time world champion, comes out to Dallas. Dallas had a great week. They had Raw and AEW. We're going to talk about it all. Yeah, so Cena comes out there. He says the reason why I came back is for you, the WWE universe, and he calls out Roman Reigns. He says Roman Reigns is an a-hole, and that's why I'm back, basically. And then Matt Riddle comes out, and they do a whole bro session. I hear the tag team name is going to be Bros to Men. Get it? Wink, wink. So what are your thoughts on John Cena's promo on Monday night to a hot Dallas crowd in the American Airlines Center?
I like the promo, most of it. I mean, when it comes to Cena, sometimes he doesn't go the super serious route, which is kind of the way he approached it here on Monday Night Raw. I mean, we saw him do the thing with Riddle, and he's going to be on multiple Raws leading up to SummerSlam. And Roman's not on Raw. Obviously, seemingly he's going to be in a feud with Roman for the title at SummerSlam. So what does this mean for Cena on Raw? I don't know. Is he just – it wouldn't make sense for me if I'm like a USA executive to see Cena just, talking about another feud on another channel the entire time instead of, doing something substantive. So I don't know if maybe he does kind of link up with Riddle, if that's going to be something, if he's like the new Randy, because who knows what the hell's going on with Randy Orton. But I mean, it was okay. I'm not going to put too much criticism on it or anything until I really see what's going on like Friday and then really the week after, once we kind of see a trend of what Cena's doing.
Yeah, look, here's the thing. If Riddle needs to keep being paired with people, maybe he doesn't deserve to be there. If he can't make it on his own, you think?
Well, there's great tag teams who, on their own, they're probably not the best, but you pair them with someone else, and they're good.
Who?
I mean, Billy Gunn didn't do great as a singles.
One of the King of the Ring was the Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a pretty.
He's probably one of the biggest King of the Ring flops there's been. Because that's back in the day when if you won the King of the Ring, you actually were supposed to do something with it.
Okay, now name another team.
Let's see. I mean, I could do Road Dogg. I mean, Road Dogg's almost the same thing. He didn't really have too much single success.
Intercontinental Champion.
Okay, Riddle's a U.S. champion.
Okay, but this is still early. I mean, these guys were already seasoned vets. You know what I mean?
So then what's the difference? So then
they were seasoned vets. Riddle's not a seasoned vet. They were having Hall of Fame worthy runs back then. Riddle's not having a Hall of Fame worthy run.
Riddle is still a work in progress. I'm
honestly
not a big Riddle defender like I used to
let's
be.
just get rid of this guy. Like I don't see what the big hoopla is. I really don't.
I got one.
What?
Bret Hart. Way better as a tag team than a singles.
Well, I mean, this is true, but if anybody had to be a victim of the boyhood dream, I'm glad it was Bret Hart. So I'll allow the singles run for Bret. I'll allow it. I mean, I thought you were going to go the Dudleys or something. I thought you were going to say that.
No, I got to keep my bit about Bret Hart.
Oh, well, okay. I mean, would you say the Dudleys better as a tag team?
I would say Devon, most definitely. Bubba/Bully, I think, has definitely shown that he's been able to do good work on his own.
I mean, Devon, if he wasn't a single star, we never would have got Reverend Devon. We never would have got the Testify. We never would have got the TNA TV title run over there. We never would have got him starting up Aces and Eights with Bully. Come on now. If he was always a tag team guy.
The Road Warriors, both of them.
Honestly, I don't think I've ever seen a singles match of those guys.
Exactly. I'm doing the raw watchbacks, and I believe it's Hawk. He's like stumbling out drunk. So, I'm watching that right now. So that's a lot of fun.
On the Peacock.
Yep. On the Peacock.
Okay. Next up, Bobby Lashley has an open challenge. It's a championship. What did they call this? What was the exact terminology they used? Like you wrestle a champion, and if you beat them, you get an opportunity at the title. So yeah, the Almighty says, "Who wants it?" And Keith Lee makes his triumphant return. I believe he's from Texas. I don't know if he's from Dallas, but yeah, Keith Lee makes his big return in a very physical match against the Almighty WWE champion. He didn't lose to the Hurt Lock, so that actually protects him a little bit more. He lost to a couple spears, but yeah, what are your thoughts on Keith Lee's return and his going up against Bobby Lashley?
I'm happy that Keith Lee's back. He's been absent. We don't really know why. He says he'll tell us when he comes back. But, I had a little bit of an issue with this. We'll talk about another thing that I had even a bigger issue with someone losing. But, I mean, Keith Lee, when he came out, I was like, oh, yeah, they have Keith Lee. And he's like one of the stars who you can utilize. He has size. He has personality. Maybe he has an attitude issue, but I haven't, seen too much of that. But he's one of the guys who hasn't been defined down on the main roster. And then you bring him in and have like a 5-minute quasi-competitive match with Bobby Lashley, and then he loses. So that just automatically knocks him a peg down. Now, what does this mean for Keith Lee? I don't know. Was this used just as a one-off, or is he like actually going to be back and he's going to, start doing some things? Maybe he feuds with Sheamus, gets the U.S. title that he never got. But I mean, I just wonder what was the reasoning behind it to have him lose to Lashley besides just get the big pop, because then you're just going to get another pop later with Goldberg coming out, which it's Goldberg. It's almost like the Vince McMahon thing where people trash on it, but then when he comes out, everyone just cheers him, which I still don't understand.
I wasn't cheering. I was not cheering at all. Look, the rumors were speculated. Obviously, they couldn't get Brock, and I'm very sad. I guess he's just off somewhere cutting wood with his ponytail. Look, it's Bill. We know he's not going to win. He'll come in. He'll have like a 5-minute physical match, and then that's it. So that's what we're going to get at SummerSlam, I guess. Yeah, I'm just like, okay, all right, but he's here. Love Bill. Loved the run back in the day. Even quite possibly enjoyed a little bit of the first WWE run. Hall of Famer, yes, absolutely. But yeah, I'm kind of not here for it. I respect Bill. I do. I respect Bill. When he came back and beat Brock, legit shock. But it really went downhill once he beat KO for the Universal title back then.
Yeah, they just keep going to the well, I think, one too many times. He just shows up, faces like the top guy, and then he loses. I just don't think that that's really what they should be doing. I would much rather see a full blown Keith Lee Lashley feud, even if Lee loses at the end. Like I'm perfectly fine with that. But just having Goldberg come back and just after losing like his last 2 title matches, just show up and challenge for the title again. I'm not the biggest fan of it. If you want Goldberg, that's perfectly fine. Just have him come out. I think they did this with Ziggler at a SummerSlam a couple years ago. Just have him like beat John Morrison or beat some other annoying heel and just squash them in like a couple minutes. Like, I don't know why, if you're going to have the same length of match, why does that have to be for the title? Why can't he just, get in, get out?
Because it's to draw eyes on the product, and people remember Goldberg from 23 years ago.
But are the people who aren't watched the product, he's come back so many times. I think you've drawn in those people. And is it really that much bigger of a deal to see him face for a title?
Yes, because
I think people understand he's probably not going to win it.
Because this is SummerSlam in a big stadium, and we want to fill the stadium and so on and so forth. And yes, and all of that. Yeah. Yeah. Anything else about Bill Goldberg?
He didn't come out bloody or concussed. A little sweaty, but besides that, everything looked good.
He yelled, "I'm next." I mean, this has been in the works for a long time. I don't know if you know this. Did you know this?
I thought you were going to explain why it was in the works.
I mean, if you go back on the Twitter, I think it's May 12th of 2019, I believe. Goldberg said, "Who's next?" Bobby Lashley replied with the eyes, the eye emojis, like, so boom. That's how long this has been in progress. It's been 2 years in the making.
And they say WWE doesn't do long-term storytelling.
Absolutely. You see, when when the Shield first came about, the plan was for Mox to turn on him the way he did when Roman announced he had leukemia. So they say that was like a 5.5 year story. Come on now, guys. Come on now. So the Raw Women's title was on the line. Rhea Ripley trying to get back her title from the 11-time women's champion, Charlotte Flair. And Nikki Ash leaves the champion. Nikki Cross is the Raw Women's champion. How do you feel about all of this?
Well, Charlotte having the Kane reign, only one day, which, I mean, I guess I understand if you're going to ultimately get the title on Nikki. I guess they would rather her beat a heel than beat Rhea. But then Rhea's also kind of a heel, and neither one of them are really likable. Yada, yada, yada. I mean, that is still an ongoing issue between Rhea and Charlotte. But, I mean, Nikki winning the title. It was almost like not a foregone conclusion, but they've done this in the past where usually the women's Money in the Bank gets cashed in fairly quickly. So I was kind of expecting something to happen like within the next couple weeks. And when you main event the title and you could see there's like a couple minutes left, either it's going to be a cash in or Becky's coming back. And I think most people probably wanted Becky to come back. It didn't happen. I mean, shout out Becky with like the tweet of the year so far. But
what's the tweet of the year? What is it? I need to know.
Well, basically the gist of it is she's breastfeeding at home, and yet she's still the most over in the women's division.
Yeah.
And her current location on Twitter is in Charlotte's Head.
Oh, that's very funny. But keep going.
Anyway, so I mean the Nikki Ash character, I'm still not the biggest fan of it. I like Nikki personally, like as a wrestler. I think she's really talented, but
you know what I've noticed? So once people found out this was her idea, they didn't really crap on it. Yeah.
I mean, I get it. I mean, I don't want to like just.
This wasn't Vince's idea, guys. This is hers. So yeah, where's your? Oh, this is stupid. This is a complete waste of her. Where's all that energy now? Yeah, you guys are scared now because you know that it was the wrestler's idea. Yeah.
I mean, I believe I just said that 60 seconds ago.
But look, I'll put it to you like this. This would be more impactful if she was that twisted Nikki Cross from Sanity. Well, they could have been like, "Oh my God, she's gonna run roughshod over the women's division," and all that other stuff. But no, she's a. This is basically if Mighty Molly were to win the world title. Yeah, yeah, that's all this is.
And she's playing the part well, but she's like not getting over to the effect that I think they want her to, like Mighty Molly or the Hurricane, because I think people just kind of see for what it is and they kind of just roll their eyes at it. And with the women's division the way it is, I don't know where you go from here. Like you have Charlotte and Rhea, you have Asuka, but she's a baby face. Like who is Nikki going to like challenge or, dethrone or beat at SummerSlam? Like, is she not the long-term champion, but is she going to reign through SummerSlam? Like, does she win her SummerSlam match and defend the title there? And is it against Charlotte?
I say she probably loses it within the next 2 to 3 weeks. Or probably she may lose it like next week on Raw. We don't know. You know what I mean? Like, we just don't know.
Raquel Gonzalez will show up and then Nikki will pin her.
Absolutely. Jeff Hardy, No More Words. It's back. That's the name of the episode. I loved it. Did you pop for No More Words, Brandon?
I'm sorry to be a Debbie Downer, but I have no connection to the No More Words theme. I understand everyone loves it. Everyone is like, they want it back and they finally got it back. I'm very, I'm happy for you guys.
Come on,
but bro. As I said,
are you kidding me? A
between
paradox,
08,
a mystery,
between 08 and 2010, when this song was bumping, I just wasn't there, and so I just don't have the same connection.
So you see,
even though listening back, I was like, okay, this song is cool, but I guess I'm just an old person that I have more nostalgia for the Hardy Boys theme song.
Come on, man. So you see the writing on the wall? Come on, dude. Yeah, Jeff Hardy, he came back. He wrestled the NXT champion, Karrion Kross, and Kross lost. He lost. Technically, this isn't his Raw debut. Back in 2015, he was in a tag match with Darren Young. So, unsuccessful on Monday Night Raw. People are upset. Look, he got outschooled by he got outsmarted and outschooled by a vet. That's all this is. That's all it is. He lost. So what? I'm not really a Karrion Kross guy to begin with. He's too overhyped. Like, it's not all that great. I mean, people are really there for Scarlett. Let's be honest. Let's really be honest here. And she wasn't even with them. So he was even more of a downer.
So I am the NXT guy here. And I was just utterly shocked of what the hell transpired here with Jeff Hardy beating Karrion Kross in a couple seconds, or not a couple seconds, but a couple minutes. And like, what is the point? Like, this isn't ECW where Paul Heyman brings in the WWF guy on a dark match and loses just to see if he doesn't have an ego and he's there for the cause and loses. Like, you have NXT, WWE, they're the same company under the same umbrella. This guy is undefeated. He is super protected on the other brand. And then Vince was like, you know what? I don't give a crap about that. We're going to have him lose to Jeff Hardy, who cheated, by the way. I don't know why baby faces are cheating to win.
He got outsmarted by the legend. You can't make a point for this. Karrion Kross isn't all that great. People like the lights. They think the song is kind of stupid and weird. I'm going to put it to you like that. They need a faster version of it, in my opinion. They're there for Scarlett, and she wasn't there. So this just made this even less impressive to see Karrion Kross on Monday Night Raw.
So let's just say WCW had Goldberg waiting in the wings. He was on their developmental brand that was on national cable television, and they bring him up to Nitro as this hyped up dude, still the champion, and then they just have him lose to, they lose to Virgil, which, shout out Virgil and shout out Jeff Hardy. They're definitely not on the same level, but that was just the first name that came to mind. Like, there's just so many things wrong with this. And I'm not the biggest fan of Karrion Kross either, but just like, I feel like I have to kind of defend him from what you're saying. But I mean, I think he's good, but then also like not only him, but the people who put him over in NXT to try to get him to the level that he's at, I would also be mad because I'm doing all this work. I'm putting the effort. I'm the one, taking the hard bumps and losing to this guy. For him to just lose to Jeff Hardy in a couple minutes. And Jeff Hardy lost to like Jinder Mahal, Elias. He's lost to like some pretty low level people this year. And then Karrion Kross comes in. Like, I know people will say, Charlotte lost to Natalya, and she's perfectly fine.
Time out. You said Jeff Hardy lost to low-level people. Jinder Mahal was the WWE champion. His runs were longer than all of Hardy's runs with the world title. How dare you?
So now you're saying Jinder Mahal's better than Jeff Hardy?
How dare you? I'm going to put it to you. No, I mean, Jeff, he's a legend. Multiple tag world titles, multiple world championships. It just so happens that if you add them up, Jinder held the title longer in one run than Jeff did in like 3 or 4. That's all I'm saying. But look, this is what happened here. He got humbled. That's all this was. He was probably walking around thinking he was the ish, thinking he was a big deal because he was the developmental champion. And he got humbled. That's all this was. It was a humbling experience. Let's see where we are like a month and a half from now. People will forget about this. Guaranteed.
And then also puts NXT in a weird situation because they just have to ignore it. And then it's not only just a Karrion Kross situation, but it's also the stuff that's going on SmackDown with Toni Storm and Shotzi and Tegan, where Shotzi and Tony were like setting up a feud the same week both of them debuted, and now Tony's a babyface, which I think she is better suited as a babyface than a heel. But it's like there's rumblings and reports that Vince doesn't give a damn about NXT, and it's like showing right now. I mean, as I said, I'm not the biggest fan of Karrion Kross, but like, what is the point of him? Like, okay, he'll go on a tear and like kill Jeff Hardy next week, but did you really have to have him lose like that and like unravel some of the things from NXT to get there?
Yes.
No.
And they didn't ignore it on NXT. Samoa Joe made reference of it. It wasn't ignored. Come on now. Why don't do this. Drew McIntyre, he snaps, he attacks one of Jinder's henchmen and he just beats him to hell with a chair, multiple chairs. Yeah.
A lot of camera switches because that's what they do.
Yeah.
Gives me a headache.
I'm fine with it. I love the camera switches. I think there should be more, in my opinion. Reginald is 24/7 champion. He's no longer with Nia Jax. Nia, if you need a road dog, I'm available. My number is 510-517. DM me for the rest. Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on Reginald becoming the 24/7 champion?
Good for him, I guess. I mean, it's a 24/7 championship. I kind of forgot that it was a thing. I didn't even know Akira Tozawa was a champion, to be honest.
We're going to talk about Akira Tozawa today. We will. I mean, the 24.
Reggie, I saw him on TikTok celebrating the title.
Absolutely, the 24/7 title lost all prestige once Peter Rosenberg lost it. Forever the champion for the peckerheads out there, the Cheap Heat universe. Yeah. So apparently Daniel Bryan is signed with AEW. Their rumors are heavy about this. I'm not a fan. I am not a fan. I'm not a fan of him going to AEW. Do you want to know why? Do you want to know why?
No, but you're going to tell us anyways.
This man was just in the main event of WrestleMania with the WWE Hall of Famer and our tribal chief, and he lets his contract expire, and then he's going to go run to this other company full of vanilla midgets, going off of the momentum that he had in WWE just, 5 or 4 months ago? How dare he? How dare he? No, but in all honesty, they really don't need any more people, man. Like, I was kind of against Andrade and Malachi Black coming over there because their roster is stacked. They have too much talent. Use what you have. Stop signing a whole bunch of people. Just stop doing that. Please stop doing it now. Now. And you can say, oh, but they have dark and dark elevation. Look, nobody's watching those shows. Nobody's watching 2 hours worth of jobber matches. Okay.
Hey, I didn't watch episodes of Dark, but I went back and I watched some clips of Dark because JWoww's boyfriend has wrestled on Dark a couple times, and they're doing a storyline on Jersey Shore right now that they're having a wrestling show, and I had to see what he looked like. And let's just say JWoww said, he's a great wrestler. I forget exactly what the vernacular was, and I almost literally like choked on the food I was eating. I laughed so hard that I almost choked and died.
What does this guy look like?
He's a big, burly white fellow from whatchamacallit, from like New York.
Oh, okay.
If you look, he's had a match with Sonny Kiss, and God bless Sonny, that was not a good match. Colt Cabana one is a little better.
Oh, okay. What in ring wise, what are we comparing him to? Like trash wrestler, what are we comparing him to?
I was gonna say like QT Marshall, but that's not even like, that's a dig on QT Marshall. Like,
oh God. What I mean,
he's
like,
as good as Adam Thornstowe.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh man. Oh Jesus. Oh God. But seriously, what are your thoughts about Daniel Bryan going over to AEW?
So I mean, yesterday was a big news day for AEW. And I mean, I'm excited to see what he can do. Bryan Danielson's going to kind of be weird trying to remember to say that name instead of Dana Bryan. But I think it really just comes down to him wanting to be free. He was really open about wanting to, he knows at the end of his career, he wanted to go to Japan and go to Mexico, do a hair versus mask match and, do all these different things. And I think if WWE was willing to, I think he would have re-signed with WWE. But that's just not in WWE's best interest, and they don't want to do that. And so, AEW really is like showing their connection with New Japan right now, and Bryan, sees what's going on, and I don't think Bryan's going to be like this main event level guy every week on Raw or on Dynamite. I think he's going to be, kind of like almost like John Moxley. Like right now, Moxley, since he hasn't been champion, we kind of see him sporadically. Yeah, he had the child, so maybe now we'll see him more often. But he's not going to be Kenny, or he's not going to be even more Darby, where Darby is like almost wrestling like every other week. I think Bryan is going to be more of like an attraction. There's rumblings that possibly his debut will be at that the Arthur Ashe show after All Out in September. And I mean, I'm super pumped to see what he can do, not only in AEW, but just kind of around the indie scene and around the world, because, we talked about this a couple of years ago when his contract first came up. I really wanted him to join AEW when it first started. Now, I'm not saying he's past his sell-by date, but, maybe he's a little colder than what he was a couple years ago. Hopefully that was an important phone call. But, and then we'll talk about the other thing a little bit later. I do kind of wish these things kept under wraps a little bit more. Like, I know I'm kind of going out of my way to find this types of news, but I would, the Malachi Black situation, the Andrade stuff, that was kept under wraps, and I was very happy. But then, of course, these big ones, they're kind of leaking out, which I think this one is more of a done deal than the other one. But I kind of wish that they kept this under wraps, and I saw it live and, almost, made a mess of my trousers.
Yeah, pretty much, man. Yeah, so apparently Phillip Brooks. Phillip's a great name. If you're having a boy, name him Phillip, or if you're having a girl, name her Felicia. There we go. Yeah, look, CM Punk apparently is supposed to be having an in-ring return. He's in close talks with AEW, allegedly. I don't know, man. I always thought if he ever came back, I would hear the Cult of Personality play, and people would erupt, and he would walk out on that stage and do the clobbering time. I always pictured that. I pictured it so much I tried to manifest it. I could hear it. Could you hear it, Brandon? Could you hear the roar?
10 years ago on Saturday, I watched Money in the Bank, and still one of the greatest crowd reactions of all time.
Yeah, man. I mean, just I don't know how much longer the pop will be there for when he returns. So if it has to happen now, then it kind of has to happen now, if you know what I mean. It's really now or never. I don't know. Maybe Vince can just throw him a boatload of money to be like, "Hey, no, come over here." You know, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I just checked the Wikipedia. So Bryan Danielson, he's 40, just turned 40, and then Phillip Brooks, CM Punk is going to be 43 in October. So Punk is the older one, and I do feel Punk's sell by date or like his peak impact was a few years ago. I think it has definitely cooled off quite a bit, but I'm still excited to see what he can do. I mean, physically, he's posting all these MMA videos. He's still working out all the time. He's probably much, much slimmer than what he was. He's probably gonna look more like his ROH days than what he's gonna than his WWE days, 10 years ago. But I do wonder what CM Punk not only will do in the ring or creatively, but what kind of impact he could have on the AEW brand. We haven't seen, usually the ratings will come out after our show. So we don't know what happened this week, but last week they popped a really big rating when fans came back. So is CM Punk kind of like that last little thing that they could use to, they're putting on a great product and I think they're going to get better, but is CM Punk kind of that last little thing that can really drive in the casuals? I don't know, because it's been so long. We've seen him on MMA, we've seen him in UFC and stuff like that, and even in WWE programming. So, I think maybe personally, like the Daniel Bryan one just excites me a little bit more, just because like I've seen him do great work in the past. I know he can have a great match and he can, tell the great stories. The CM Punk one, as much as I love Punk and he's, top 2, top 3, I'm a little worried to see. I'm kind of wondering what exactly he could do with AEW now. If he comes out to All Out in Chicago, I mean, the reaction is going to be insane. It's going to top probably what happened when Moxley debuted at Double or Nothing.
Now we have to go to Chicago. Now we
especially if they get if Tony Khan can dole out the rights and get Cult of Personality, which I don't know if he can, what kind of rights deal that is, but make it happen. Luckily for Daniel Bryan, Flight of the Valkyries, common whatever it's called, they can use that.
Yeah, they can use Flight of the Valkyries, so they'll be fine. Brandon, are we going to Chicago now?
I mean, I said on the recap show that I was in talks with Dominic to possibly go to Vegas, but then when I was looking at flights there, I was also looking at flights to Chicago.
Yeah,
they are a little pricey, but your boy does got those Southwest points stockpiled, so it wouldn't be too expensive for me. I don't know what Philip's situation is like though.
I mean, I will be coming back from a hiatus in New Jersey around that like a week before, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see what happens with CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. All right, moving on from that, Slammiversary talk. So things happened. An impressive Ultimate X match. Great. Deonna Purrazzo retains the Knockouts title against Thunder Rosa. Hardcore Country Mickey James pops up. Apparently Aiden English is going to Impact. No Way Jose is going over to Impact. Brandon, his predictions almost coming true.
It's just no way.
No, okay, no way. No way. But yeah, man, what are your thoughts on all these things that happened in Slammiversary?
Well, Impact definitely did tease like a lot of returns or debuts with a lot of released WWE talent. I'm not keeping up on Impact too much, but I did see some of the names pop up. Chelsea Green, she showed up to tag with her fiance, husband, whatever, Matt Cardona, and
Laurel Van Ness.
Sorry, Laurel Van Ness.
So
she's getting.
Or did she go by Chelsea Green? I don't know. I forgot.
I don't know, but she's kind of going to be the centerpiece of ROH, and she's on Impact. I don't know if how long that'll last, if she will do kind of double duty, but it was nice to see. Impact definitely is kind of gaining a little bit more traction. I mean, I kind of keep saying this, but like I've heard that they're putting on good stuff, and I just kind of keep not watching it, but keeping one eye on the product. And the Sami Callihan Kenny Omega match seemed like it was kind of brutal and seemed like a good time. And Jay White shows up, so they're definitely getting the big names right now.
Do you still breathe with the switchblade? Do you? Do you still do that?
Maybe.
Okay. Yeah, so I can't wait to see what happens. Defy, their big return is August 28th, 2021. Speaking of Impact, their X Division champion, Josh Alexander, the walking weapon, he will be in attendance, plus so many others. Go check that out. Moving on to this day in wrestling. Vince McMahon was acquitted of the steroid charges back in 94. Ron Simmons makes his WWE debut in 1996. Ultimo Dragon wins the WCW TV title on Nitro in 97. WCW Thunder in 99, the Revolution formed. It was what? Dean Malenko, Perry Saturn, Shane Douglas, and somebody else. This was supposed to be like a revamped Four Horsemen. The Invasion pay-per-view in 2001. Team ECWCW defeated Team WWE in a multitude of matches. Great American Bash 2007. Cena retains the WWE title against Bobby Lashley. SmackDown 2014, Roman Reigns defeats Alberto Del Rio. Slammiversary 2018, Austin Aries defeats Moose to retain the Impact World title. And some birthdays today. Kenny King and Fandango were 40. Akira Tozawa's 36. And the Heartbreak Kid, the two-time Hall of Famer, Shawn Michaels, he's 56 years old today. Any thoughts about the things that happened on this day? The people's birthdays? Happy birthday, Shawn. We love you.
Happy birthday to all my July babies out there. Shout out Shawn Michaels. Honestly, I didn't really realize his birthday is too close to mine. But once again, happy birthday, Mandy Rose.
Oh, she knew the same birthday?
Yep. It's the only one that, and I think I have Al Snow too. I think Al Snow's also
you
July
have
18th.
Al Snow? That's great, man.
Now we got to go to the Google machine just to confirm this.
Hootie Hoo 420.
Hootie Hoo, yep, July 18th, 1963, 58 years young.
There we go. Mates, the Cena return gave me goosebumps like Travis Scott. And Nikki is on top of the mountain. What a time to be alive. Yeah, man. The Cena return was awesome. The Nikki Cross, Nikki Ash stuff is what it is. It's happening. It is a happening. We're gonna go over to the Instagram DMs, and Mr. X, he sent us quite a few. So you ready?
Mr. X.
So Taiwan's favorite invisible wrestler has returned. How long will he stick around for? I know the report is 15 dates, but could he stick around longer? I want Cena to stick around for as long as he can, man. I miss John. I miss Big Match John. When that music hit at Money in the Bank, I felt like I was 8 years old again. I really did. I was like, oh my God. I loved it. I loved everything about it. I want Cena to stick around. He's not doing this that much longer, so we need him for as long as we can. All right. Apparently, if you get a DUI, you get a championship title as your reward. Interesting. Hey, man. Imagine back in
One
the
drink
80s.
and drive, boys and girls.
Imagine back in the 80s, those guys were doing a lot worse, and they were rewarded with like year-long title runs. He also goes on to say, I'm really happy for Nikki winning the Raw Women's title. She's one of those performers that puts 110% to everything she does. I'm worried that the superhero gimmick may hinder her run, but damn it, I'm going to try to put aside my criticism or my cynicism and support the positive vibes she is putting out into the world right now. Long may she reign. Absolutely. And then he also says,
Do we have an update do we have an update on Sean Stewart's thoughts on Nikki Ash winning the title? Have we talked to him at any time?
You know what? I'll text him right now, and we'll see. We'll see what he what he says
after the podcast. I need to tell you a story.
Okay.
From the other day that did tickle my fancy.
All right. What are your thoughts on this one? While I text Sean, he says, I actually got what I wanted with Big E winning the men's Money in the Bank briefcase. I remember thinking months ago that he should win it. And behold, Big E Mania is now upon us. Yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
I'm happy for Big E winning the title, or winning the Money in the Bank, and early last year, early this year, it was a little sketch with the whole Apollo Crews feud, but it does seem like they're trying to go full bore with him, and I still don't see it. Like, the Roman character is just so strong that it's really hard for me to imagine any wrestler really right now beating him. But if they continue the way they're doing it with Big E, I know they probably want to have The Rock at WrestleMania. But maybe if Big E like really catches fire, possibly he could be the one to dethrone Roman. Or maybe even, he has a match with The Rock. Who knows? That could be a lot of fun as well. But shout out Big E because he won the title. Won the Money in the Bank. We had the trial of Faye Jackson. Have you been keeping up on this?
I've heard things about it. I'm a fan of Faye Jackson. What's been going on? Let me know.
So she tweeted out that if Big E wins the Money in the Bank, she'll post nudes, and then Big E actually won, and people were
that's
claiming
right.
their receipts, and she went to Wrestlers Court online.
That's right. I watched her story. She said no nudes here. Sean, he got back to us. He said haven't watched the show in a while, but effing finally. So there we go. He was her biggest fan. All right.
Shout out Thicky Cross, forever Thicky Cross.
Forever Thicky Cross in our hearts. Yes. Will they hopefully keep Finn as the Prince, or will they bring back the smiling go nowhere Finn on SmackDown? Keep him as the Prince. That's all they need to do.
Yeah, keep him as the Prince. Keep him, the Bullet Club kind of tweener, but definitely babyface, Finn Balor. And as much as they've kind of just destroyed Sami Zayn recently, I'm very excited if they do get to have a match at SummerSlam.
Absolutely. Is Keith Lee's loss in his return on Raw penance for him being kept off TV since January over this report copyright issue over his name? I don't know. You want to keep Lashley looking strong, so he
did have a little bit of a boo-boo face coming out, so that did maybe signal that he wasn't too happy that he was losing, but that's just kind of the thing with Keith Lee right now.
Also, no more Goldberg title shots. I can't do this anymore. Hopefully, this is the last one, man. Hopefully, this is the last one. All right, AEW, Brandon, let us know what happened.
Well, so much stuff happened on AEW. We started off with was it the five trials, whatever, something of Jericho.
The 5 labors of Jericho.
5 labors. Yes. How can I forget the awesome joke that MJF cut on commentary that it looked like Jericho was already halfway there with the labor. But Jericho takes on Shawn Spears, and after a lot of interference, Spears can use a chair, but Jericho cannot. Jericho gets the win, as he should. He gets the first win out of the 5. And MJF, who was on commentary, he comes out and says that he has the second labor. And I thought MJF said this, but I thought he was going to have to face every single member of the Pinnacle. That's not the case, because he will face Jericho, that is pronouns, pal, will take on Nick Gage, Nick Gage, in a no disqualification, no rules match next week on Dynamite. Jericho bringing out the Painmaker, which we could talk about that, but big surprise. Phillip, your thoughts on the match and Nick Gage popping up on AEW? What the hell's going on here?
2021's wild, bro. And they're coming at us with everything. Nick Gage, he's loved by the indie deathmatch crowd. I've seen the work. It is what it is. I'm not in love with it like everybody else. I think it's fine. It's very gruesome. Jericho, this is interesting for Chris Jericho, because the most hardcore thing Jericho's ever done was be slammed on some thumbtacks. You know what I mean? And he said he's bringing back the Painmaker, which I love. I love that character. So I'm interested to see what they do and how far they toe the line with Chris Jericho, what he's willing to do.
Yeah, I was really excited to see Nick Gage pop up. Now, I'm like you, I'm not the biggest deathmatch guy, but I finally did get around to watching the Nick Gage Dark Side of the Ring, and I thought his story was great. He's one of those guys to where most of the wrestling industry probably isn't going to know who he is, but the people who do know and who like him really effing love him, and he's just charismatic in his own kind of weird way. And I'm not expecting, a death match by any means, not even what we saw. Probably he's probably going to be close to what we saw yesterday with Moxley and Archer, but it's kind of one of those weird, strange dream matches that you just never really thought would ever happen. So you didn't even fantasize about it. But Jericho and Nick Gage, it's weird, but I'm all for it.
Things are going to happen. To quote my good friend James Kincaid, it's going to be a happening.
Yeah. We get a Hangman and Elite scuffle, kind of building up to their match next week. And yeah, I mean, Hangman gets a big, or I guess this was preceded by a Luke Gallows beating Frankie Kazarian, and then they beat down Kazarian. Hangman makes a save. Hangman gets beat up. Then Dark Order makes a save. Yada yada yada. So, no real talking this week. I mean, Kenny did do some talking, but nothing really on Hangman's part. But once again, Hangman over like Rover, and we're gonna get that tag match next week.
Can't wait to see it. I like how Impact just went back and put the Impact tag titles back on the Good Brothers. So be it. Yeah, the Elite Hunter, Frankie Kazarian. I like the gimmick. I like what he's doing. I'm a fan. I am a big fan. Yes.
So some might say, better suited in a tag team, but I wouldn't say that. I think he's done great work, both singles.
Did you not watch
different walks of life?
Did you not watch the X Division run in TNA?
I was saying some people. I'm not saying me.
Oh, okay. You people didn't watch the X Division run in TNA? Across my television screen, WWF Russia popped up. Is there something they want to tell us?
I mean, they're already in bed with the Saudis.
I mean, well, given this could be the World Wildlife Fund, so yeah. Anyway, what else happened?
We had a AEW Women's Championship match. Britt Baker, who I don't forget. There's been something weird where like my TNT, I'll be like at a commercial and like a commercial just freeze for like 2 minutes and then it was randomly unfreeze and I'm like, in the middle of Dynamite, which I don't know what's going on here. TNT, DirecTV, figure stuff out. But anyways, Britt Baker takes on Nyla Rose and Britt Baker retains. She wasn't like stupid crazy over, but she definitely was favored in this match. A little sloppy, a little clunky. But I think this is what you would come to expect between these two. Britt, as much as I love her character work, she still has some things to do in ring wise. And when she's kind of in there with someone, quote unquote, lesser than or on the same level, the matches aren't going to be the prettiest, but she won. Crowd was hot for her. So, that's really all you can ask for. And she retains. So what's next?
What is next? I don't know. Who do they have? Who do they got? They could always run back to the Thunder Rosa. I don't think we'll ever get tired of watching that. But who else do they really have, man?
I mean, that's really the issue. Is I don't really see unless you bring in like more of the Japanese talent.
Bring in Mickie James. Why not?
You could bring in Mickie James. You could bring in. I'm not bring in, but Chris Statlander's there, but she's a baby face. I don't think you want to have as much as it'd probably be fun to see Britt Baker and Orange Cassidy interact. I don't think you want to go down that route, but Red Velvet. The problem is like they've kind of run through. They don't have too many women heels to really go through for Britt. A lot of the kind of
Britt's a heel.
But is she?
Yeah.
So this was a heel match between her and Britt and Nyla. Okay.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
If that's the way you're thinking, which isn't the way I'm exactly thinking.
What do you mean? I know these things for a fact.
Okay, then there you go. Have Red Velvet take on Britt Baker. Boom.
What has she been doing? She been on Dark
Probably.
That nobody watches.
Well, now I gotta check the rankings. Do they still post the rankings on their Instagram?
Do they even remember that they do rankings, bro?
They occasionally talk about them.
I mean, I don't know what they're doing over there. Like, give me the book. Just give me the book, man. I will get you guys some ratings, man. I'm telling you.
Oh, apparently Thunder Rosa is officially all elite. So there you go. Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker confirmed. And happy birthday, Thunder Rosa.
Is today her birthday?
That's what it says on the Twitter machine.
What? Happy birthday, Thunder Rosa. I didn't know that. Love you, Thunder. Love you. Andrade, he has a special consultant. Who is that? He does
have a special consultant. He used to have Vicky, which I did have some issues with, but now he's moved on to a different Guerrero. Now it's Chavo Guerrero. So down there in Dallas, Big Papa, Guerreros are over in Texas, all across the world. But Chavo comes out, cuts a promo, kind of putting over Andrade, not exactly heelish. But then Triángulo de la Muerte comes out, and they talk to Andrade. They go back and forth a little bit. So maybe setting up some sort of 6-man tag with who? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, Andrade is kind of a heel, but he's definitely kind of over, and he's not like overtly going after anybody specifically. I don't know if this is leading to, death square, whatever that is in Spanish. But
we named an episode after that. Cuadrado de la Muerte. There it is. There it is.
Yeah, so I'm happy that they moved away from Vicky. I think Vicky is, kind of defined at a certain level with what she did in WWE. Now, Chavo's almost kind of the same way, but I think there's a little bit more not gravitas, but he wasn't used as prominently in WWE at that kind of lower level. So you can bring him out and you can kind of, redefine him to do what he's doing now. So if you need to have a mouthpiece for Andrade, which I still don't think he needs one, like he speaks good enough English, limit the in-ring talking segments, just keep him backstage, do the subtitles and the things they've been doing, which I think have been fantastic. But if you really need to have a mouthpiece for him and it has to be Guerrero, I would pick Chavo over Vicky.
Okay. No, I understand. When it came out, I instantly went to ooh, Chavo. One of the greatest theme songs of all time, I might add. It's a banger. It's a bop. Yeah, I mean, I met Chavo when he came out here to the Bay, when he did appearance at APW. Really nice guy. We talked about his ECW title run a little bit. I'm happy for Chavo. I'm glad to see him back on television. This is going to be good. Hopefully they do some tag stuff, man. I want to see Chavo in the ring.
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I haven't really seen Chavo wrestle lately, but
I mean, I think Andrade could do like, to get to me, you have to go through him or something, like kind of like what MJF's doing, but not like the whole labors or whatever. Just like a quick 1 week roadblock.
I do wonder what's going on with his handler, whatever person's kind of behind him. Like they don't really acknowledge him, but yet he's always there. So I don't know, what's going on with that guy.
We shall wait and see. We shall
wait and see. And then in the main event, we get another IWGP US title match. Jon Moxley defending against Dallas's own Lance Archer. And I mean, this was a death match, and by God, it was a death match. They, just beat the hell out of each other, going all over the place. Lots and lots of blood, and Moxley loses. They finally get the IWGP title or US title off of him. He gets put through barbed wire tables, bleeding all over the place. Apparently having a child did not change Moxley's, desire to have death matches and kill himself, but to each his own. And Archer gets the win. I've been slipping a little bit more on my New Japan watchings, but now I guess Archer, I don't know if this is going to be kind of more of an AEW type of thing right now, but seeing Archer go over to New Japan, that could be a lot of fun as well. And I think it was about time to get the title off of Moxley, because you can kind of see that AEW is kind of more in the forefront than New Japan, and now with the touring schedule kind of picking back up, I think this was the right move, honestly. And Archer has been used so much in AEW that he hasn't really gotten a marquee win. I think it was good for him to get a win here in front of his hometown crowd.
They broke a wrestling tradition. You're not supposed to win in your hometown. You're not supposed to. Why would they do that?
If you're in WWE.
Well, what do you mean? CM Punk won in Chicago. Well, given that's Chicago, and they would have actually rioted, but Dallas wasn't going to riot if he lost. They weren't going to riot if he lost. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I've never been to Dallas. I wouldn't know what the people are like over there.
I used to live there, man. I know things.
Crazy people.
Pretty much here and there. Not really. Not a lot. Superstar Spotlight. Who do we got? I'm gonna give it to Keith Lee, man. Big return. He was unsuccessful, but yet and still, Keith Lee coming back. Hopefully, it's a permanent stay.
I'll give it to Lance Archer. I thought the match was gruesome. It was fun. Maybe not everyone's exact cup of tea, but good for him. I think he's been putting in great work over the last couple months. And as I said, he hasn't really been getting those wins, and he finally got one on this week's episode of AEW. Phillip, what is the promo pick of the week?
So the promo pick of the week is Edge showing up to Monday Night Raw on April 23rd, 2012 to tell John Cena to wake up. It's leading up to the Extreme Rules match that John Cena had with Brock Lesnar, which is that's kind of a banger. We should talk about that more here. The wrestling world should talk about it more in general. Yeah. And Edge was telling them, I need you to be the John Cena that chucked me into the Long Island Sound, the John Cena that is my greatest rival ever in this industry and whatnot. And yeah, it's a good promo. I thoroughly enjoyed it. This is short-haired Edge.
Yeah, a year after he had to hang it up. And this is kind of what they used Edge for. I don't know if this is like the first time they've used him post retirement, but we've seen it with the Seth thing, which is kind of setting up their match at SummerSlam. But yeah, I mean, Edge, fantastic talker. I think he only got better as he did more acting gigs. But in this segment, this was kind of serious, really intense Edge. And I think that's really when he's the best, is when he's, intense and really like talking about something he's passionate about. Now, talking about somebody else, maybe he's not all that passionate, but I thought it was really good, and I agree with you. I think that Cena Brock match was, fantastic. Even though I do have major issues with Cena going over, but the process and the match itself was really good.
Absolutely, I do have a problem. I thought Brock should have won too. What's our closed match pick of the week?
Well, speaking of someone who had a really big win this week, even though I had some issues with him winning, just like John Cena winning that Extreme Rules 2012, we get SummerSlam 2009. We got CM Punk taking on Jeffrey Nero Hardy in a TLC match for the World Heavyweight Championship. This is kind of the famous match where Jeff Hardy, kind of like, he wins, or not wins the big one, but, CM Punk and Jeff Hardy going back and forth. And I believe CM Punk wins, right, Phillip? I forget.
Yes, CM Punk did win, and The Undertaker returned.
It just, it's a really, I believe this main event's the show.
Yeah.
Shout out Jeff Hardy, one of the bigger matches in his career. And shout out CM Punk, before the pipe bomb, he still got a push. He was, doing some things even before that happened. So, him and Jeff Hardy, I wouldn't say legendary feud, but, one of the top ones for CM Punk pre-pipe bomb.
Absolutely. This was a good match, man. It's one of the more iconic shots of Jeff Hardy later in his career, standing on just a giant ladder and just diving onto CM Punk on the table. It was great. Loved it. Loved everything about it. And that's going to do it for us, ladies and gentlemen. Follow us on Twitter at BulletCast, Instagram The BulletCast, YouTube channel The BulletCast, email us BulletCast2 is in the number 2, sweet@gmail.com. Please on KAPU every Friday night in Watsonville, 104.7 FM. Please check us out. iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Spotify, Patreon. We're all over the damn place, and we will be back next week for more pro wrestling talk. Stay clean, stay strong, stay safe, get vaxxed and waxed. Diamonds are forever, so is the microphone Messiah. Good night, everybody.
Listen to us every time we live in the side. When you turn it on, it's just defining the mind. If you feel it, our opinions is great. When everything we moving now with the state, turn us on. If the feeling is right, every opinion now comes from the heart. No time we move with a part. We in the radio, it's wrestling. Times aggression. Here is the feeling in the pool. Get the lesson. And if you want to prove it to you now, here's the feeling in the time and everything that we did. Listen to the senators.
This has been the Bulletcast. Thank you for listening.